I have a serious question. Where are all the single straight men? Like, I genuinely think there's an inventory issue. Because when I tell you guys, I know so many single women that are successful, beautiful, fun, funny, cool, intelligent, like amazing women that are the full package, but cannot find a guy. And I don't know if it's like big cities or what, but it genuinely seems like for every one guy, there's like 50 amazing women. Whereas all of the single women that I know, between all of us, we don't have a single great guy that we can set the other one up with. Like, I genuinely think there's an inventory issue. And I don't know where all of the single normal men are. Someone help me figure this out.
Men abandoning women, men quitting women, men stopped dating, and women are furious.
I'm currently being ghosted by a man who wanted me first.
My toy just died while I was playing, and then I just had to lay there and be like, do I do it barbarian style?
I would love my macaroni stirred every now and then, but you know, I'm beefing with the chef.
How many men do you think are gonna crash out tonight and tomorrow because there's a drought on and women aren't on the dating apps like they used to be?
Just remember that every time you tell a girl that she's pretty, there's another guy letting her stack donuts on it and then eat it like it's corn on the cob. Level up your game.
This is my cake.
This is the album.
This is the smallest cake I've ever seen. Louis. This is my cake. You know how big I wanted my cake. This is the smallest cake I've ever seen!
3 things I've learned since being in a relationship. Number 1, all they care about is mission has remained the same. I was right about that one. I was right. Number 2, feed them. If you feed them, like, honestly, it's pretty good. Pretty easy, pretty good. Smooth sailing, just as long as they're fed. Number 3, do not mention the negatives in their betting account. They don't see the negatives. Do not mention it. Don't mention it. Doesn't matter. None of your business. Don't talk about it.
On your best day, you're probably a 4.
I'll sit Mike in front of the fan and or space heater before the company comes over. And then like make the house smell good.
I know you wanted to say it, but you didn't have to say it. What are we doing?
Yeah, I gotta stop thinking that dating women is gonna be easier than dating men. A man break your heart and you be like, I'm gonna go date women. No. A woman will play in your face. And she'll play in your face so good and you'll be so stunned that you stay.
One time I showed up to a speed dating event that I had to apply for, interview for, and pay for. And 3 out of the 8 men at the event were randos that were pulled off the street that day.
You're lucky enough to even land a date with me and you show up empty-handed. Not a flower, not a chocolate, not a teddy, not a nothing. You're never gonna see me again. Before we even get to dinner table, we've had a conversation. You know my love language is gifts. So you showing up empty-handed, just you, nothing to wow me.
I told Bryce that with my nails, I'm not really supposed to be doing the dishes because like the warm water, it'll just soak them off. And he said, really? Then how do your nails know the difference between when you're doing the dishes and when you're in the shower?
How we've never been approached by a single guy before. Like maybe ever. Which is just insane to think about. Like I can name a couple occurrences where they have, but it was like people from Europe and they're like a different breed of people, okay? So I feel like the culture in America is way different. Guys do not want to approach you, not because of how pretty you are or how you look, but it's really because they're scared of you. And then us women over here who are single are thinking like, we look amazing, we did our makeup, we chose the perfect outfit. Why aren't all these guys coming up to us? Even if we're not into them, why don't they just come up just to like make us feel good about ourselves?
If you live with your boyfriend and you pay half the rent, do not come onto this app and tell us the qualities that we need to look for in a good man, because you are not dating a man, you are dating your roommate. You are dating a feminine boy in his sprinkle era. You have lost and you are not qualified to speak on the topic of the qualities to find in a good man. I don't want to hear from you.
Hey, just for reference real quick, I'm a single mom, like single. I don't get nothing. Like nada. There's no time, no money, nothing. That's my baby. There's no co-parenting. There's no parallel parenting. It's just me. You can't understand what that takes unless you understand what that takes. Don't speak on things that you don't know. Because my kid is so happy. She has everything she needs. Furthermore, there's probably not a single thing you could ask her if she wanted, and she'd be like, yeah, I want this. No, the kid's got everything, and that's me. Me. That is all me. Cool.
I told him that he pulled a baddie. What did you say?
I said, you sure? Is she in the room with us?
My baby daddy, who just started paying child support and pays half of what he's supposed to, texted me to stop trying to live off his money. Hey, Dory. No. You're paying me to raise the child you abandoned. And money well spent. He's gorgeous. Thanks.
A guy just broke up with me because he said we didn't have anything in common.
I really don't mind being celibate. I think it's really important for women to, go through something like so important as celibacy. I just feel like it really grounds you and helps you center back to yourself.
This is how I know our society is going down the drain, and a lot of it is because of women, and I said what I said. There is a woman who killed her 4 baby children and then killed herself, right? Monster. There are women in the comments and online, well, she struggled with postpartum, she was hurting too. Does that matter? Okay, or not? You don't go 4 babies. When are we going to start drawing the line again between having empathy for a horrific situation and keeping people accountable? It's like apparently just because people are women, they can just do whatever they want and always have an excuse for it. But a man flicks something and he, I choose the bear. She shot her 4 babies, her own babies, for the reason of having, half of America we don't go around innocent children, especially not our own. And if you excuse someone doing that because you want to have empathy for her and the way she was struggling, you are just as sick. You are just as sick. And I said what I said.
I'm gonna be dead ass. Why is it low-key controversial to just talk to people nowadays? Because the older generation, they be going up to people and striking out conversation with strangers, and we think that they're weird as hell for it. But honestly, it's just socializing. It's just community. And if you do that, as a younger person, people are gonna call you fucking autistic.
You want your brothers to pull up to a house.
You're not letting me leave.
I'm not stopping you from leaving. I'm telling you to get the fuck out that door. I'm not stopping you.
I know, Mom. He's telling his fucking.
The door is right there. The door is right there. The door is right there.
Charger.
I don't have a charger for you, bro.
I think I'm gonna call a cop tonight.
Call the police. Go ahead.
Mom, he's not letting me. I don't have a charger.
This is all on video. Call the police. You want to call the police? Call them. Go ahead. Get out my house now. Get out. Okay, get out my Airbnb that I paid for. Bye. Get out my Airbnb. Get out my Airbnb.
Okay, you guys, the craziest thing in my mind just happened to me, and this is how I know that we are screwed as a society and maybe screwed as women as well. But I was at this event today, and this really attractive guy came up to me, introduced himself, asked me a few questions, told me about himself. Very impressive, by the way, super cool resume, tall, attractive, kind, so kind. And then he just asked me if I'd like to go out on a date and go to dinner with him. Just straight asked me, that was it. And I was kind of taken back in the heat of the moment, but I was like, yeah, absolutely. And my friends were right there watching. And so we exchanged numbers, and he texts me, and before everyone says oh, you're going to get kidnapped. I've been in so many situations where I actually should have been kidnapped. I gave my number, and I'm walking back to my hotel room, and I'm thinking, I can't believe he just came up to me and asked me to go out on a dinner date with him. That's so crazy. And then I'm thinking to myself, he's weird. He has to be weird. He has to be some weirdo. Who just does that? He's clearly weird. I'm wait, no, Michelle, that's what people used to do. That's normal dating. That's how our parents met. This whole social media BS, dating apps, playing games, that's not normal. And the fact that I thought it was weird that he was such a gentleman and so straightforward and just came up to me and approached me makes me think that society is screwed.
So y'all, please help me understand this. My lights got turned off. So I called my baby's father and asked him if he could get my lights turned on for me. He said no, because I have a husband and that's his responsibility. How is that his responsibility to pay my lights to get turned back on after they get turned off, that you have kids that stay here. You don't care about your kids. I understand that I have a husband, granted, don't beat me up over it, but we fell on hard times. So as my baby's father, I feel like you're supposed to pick up the slack. So you rather for your kids be in the dark than to help your baby mother get her lights turned back on? What if I didn't have a husband? Would you have helped me then? These men is crazy. Sir, help me get my lights turned on. Don't worry about my husband. He's doing what he's supposed to do as a man. As my baby daddy, you should be helping me.
I hate when men online are like, oh, I'm sure you only want the gender stereotypes when it benefits you. No, I don't. I don't want rights. I don't want to have this. I don't want to drive. I don't want to pay for things. I would love to be a 1950s housewife without the bad parts, obviously, but just be happy there. I just want my man to take care of things for me. I would bake him frickin' pies all day. You don't know me. I don't want my rights.
You know what? I've linked with my mom and she got something to say.
This message is just for the men out there. Can y'all go back to being the respectful, caring gentleman that you used to be? Because this is not working out. We're not down with this feminine movement that's going on. Not every woman wants to be the independent woman doing everything for herself. A whole bunch of women out there want to be taken care of. A whole bunch of women want to be courted and be treated like the flowers that they are. So please go back to being the gentlemen, the ones that thought about family first. This is not working out, guys. Think about that.
Think about it.
I recently had a client that I wanted to set up on a date with an amazing man who had everything that she was asking for on paper, absolutely everything. And he was very, very handsome. And she takes one look at his profile and says, absolutely not. He is 5'7". Women not willing to date short men is the same thing as men not willing to date women with less than ideal waist to hip ratios. It's ridiculous. Are you really going to miss out on someone possibly amazing, a beautiful soul, because of a few inches of height or their bone structure or something that is completely out of their control and has absolutely nothing to do with who they are as a human being? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have chemistry or forego chemistry or any of that. But how will you know if you have chemistry with someone unless you go out with them?
This is one of the reasons that men continue to walk away. They ignore women. They don't want to date women. They'd rather go their own way. Because you can have everything that a woman would want, but then all of a sudden, she doesn't just say no, she says absolutely not, as if she was leagues ahead of you. Men are done.
Okay, back to the series where I continue to get ghosted by men.
Okay, so question of the day. In a relationship, are we going 50-50 or does the man pay everything? I want to know. Let me know.
The provider men only girlies, the girls who pay no bills, the girls who get everything taken care of for them. I feel like they're not telling the younger generation something that is essential for y'all to know. A lot of y'all want these high value provider men, but don't match the aesthetic that they're looking for. And when I say aesthetics, I'm not talking about looks. The number one thing they're not telling you about these provider men is that you are going to have to shut the fuck up. He might be a narcissist. You gotta shut the fuck up. He might be a cheater, but you gotta shut the fuck up. You might get upside your head, but you're gonna have to shut the fuck up. And if you want to leave, you can't because you have no job, you have no money, you have no experiences. You might have a little bit of money that you saved up and put to the side while you were shutting up, but you still won't be able to sustain the lifestyle that you had once you were with him unless you replace him with another man. And men suck. So either get a job or deal with shutting the fuck up day in and day out listening to a man.
I'm gonna start talking because if I don't start talking, I'm gonna go crazy because I'm alone in this house.
You know what? Today my boyfriend broke up with me.
Something I've noticed is that female empowerment is fake, and a lot of women don't like other women. And what's funny is that women come to my page and they say that I don't like women, but in reality, I give women good advice because I don't want to see them fail. The problem is that women don't have any accountability. Most of you guys can't take accountability. Instead of praising bad behavior, maybe you should call it out. The problem is that a lot of you guys are delusional. You're looking down on women who are housewives. You guys put down women who are housewives all the time, but then you go and praise women on OF. You guys constantly tell women who are housewives that they're not going to be able to land a job after their husband leaves them, insinuating that the marriage isn't going to work out. And you tell them, oh, well, you're going to miss out on all this work experience and your resume isn't going to look good, that they won't be able to land a job if the marriage doesn't work out. And you just have nothing positive to say about women who are housewives. It's all negative. This is coming from other women. But what I find really interesting is you guys don't say this to women who do OF or anything of that sort. You guys don't say, well, how are you going to be able to find a job after? You guys don't say any of that. You don't give any good advice when it comes to someone doing something that's actually negative. Instead, you tell women that are doing OF that it's empowerment, it's empowering, it's great, it's this, it's that. How backwards is society? How backwards have women become? Instead of praising whores, we should be encouraging the women who are literally raising our next generation. They're doing the most important job and raising the next generation. We should be praising them. And they're doing that in a nuclear family structure, which is so rare nowadays.
And it's really simple. Men have recognized this behavior and they've stopped dating. Men have stopped dating. Men are starting to abandon women. Oh, I don't want no man that does this, 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 and this. Okay. Men are leaving women alone. Oh, I'm looking for a man that will talk to me this way and come up to me this way and pay for this. Okay. Men not approaching women. Oh, I'm looking for a man that's these three things and da-da-da-da-da. Y'all keep on saying that while men just continue to quit women. They just quit the dating market altogether. And y'all are puzzled. Y'all are stunned. Y'all are shocked when they walk away. It's because you guys praise the things that you're not supposed to be praising, the wrong things. And then when people are doing things right, then it's like, you're oppressed. Nah, men would rather stay single.
What's the opposite of having daddy issues? My dad texted me today and he said, if you're up for it, maybe we can come over on Friday and we'll order food and we can bring wine and hang out. And I thought that was a little weird, but we're going on vacation next week, so I thought maybe he wanted to like hang out with my dog. I don't know. And then I realized it's Valentine's Day. My dad just doesn't want me to have to be alone on Valentine's Day. Okay.
Her caption was, he set the bar way too high for me to ever find a man. He's your dad. What else was he supposed to be doing?
This is what men are getting wrong about women when it comes to dating. The focus is so much on attraction. You're not a creep if you're attractive. I'm single because all women care about our looks. I can literally tell you right now, as a woman who has dated and coaches women, they care about emotional intelligence. Yes, attraction plays somewhat into it. But if you have a good personality, emotional intelligence, that trumps everything. Guys who get it will get it.
Somebody said this is poor dating advice to men, and it falls into the same hilarious category as, quote, be her best friend first, quote, stay single, kings.
So my husband says to me last night that he'd really, really love it if when he came home from work, I was there at the door to greet him. My first initial reaction to this was, so you're telling me you want me to be one of the 1950s wives who come to the door when you're back from work with some warm slippers and have some dinner ready at the table for you? That's what you're asking me to do? Obviously, that's not going to work. He looked at me and he explained something which actually made a lot of sense. He said he's not expecting any of that from me, but he did say the way that it makes him feel when I give him a really nice greeting, as opposed to what normally happens, which is he comes in through the door, I'm in the thick of it with the children, making dinner, rushing around, I do a quick hi babe, and I carry on with what I'm doing. He said it really makes such a difference for him, for his mindset, preparing him to be able to actually come into the battlefield, his words, the battlefield, and actually like work as a team to get through the whole dinner, bath, bed time routine. And I thought about it after my initial shock horror reaction, and I thought, actually, it's nothing on me if I take out 2 minutes when he gets home and just come give him a nice big hug, make him feel so special, and then we can get into it together. So I'm going to try it tonight when he comes home. We'll see how it goes.
I am not attacking men. I have a genuine question. How do you get told by society that it's weak to have emotions and then believe it when it logically doesn't make sense? It pisses me off.
So I don't necessarily believe that all men think it's weak to have emotions. It's how society treats them as a result of having those emotions and them displaying it openly. If a man gets really upset and starts crying out in public or at work or wherever, people lose respect for him. It's absolutely disgusting that they just can't feel their feelings in that moment, that they're shamed for it.
No, it's not. Think harder. Just as someone who repressed their emotions for 5 years, I will tell you it's the easier route. I know from experience it is the weaker route. It is weaker to not go feel your emotions. It is weaker to not buy a diary. The only conclusion I can come to for this is that you guys are just more obsessed with the performance of strength rather than actually being a strong person.
And it really has nothing to do with that. As women, we can show our emotions, and we're not seen as weak. We're not penalized for it, if that makes sense. And men aren't afforded the same privilege. It's not about him putting on like a performance or pretending. Men genuinely do have to crush down their emotions inside. I don't think it's a good idea either. I think men should be able to feel, at least, by themselves or with friends, if they do not feel safe in the situation to do so. I do think it's important that we make us an environment that men can open up reasonably and we don't judge them for it. And some men are in this state for so long, such a big part of their lives for so many years, that it can really take a lot of effort for them to get to the point where they can actually express their emotions. Because in some cases, they don't even know how. And they suffer internally, constantly for it.